Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 177. As you may be able to tell if you're a regular listener by my voice already, I'm a little under the weather this week.
A little bit.
Been fighting it since, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday, and it felt exactly the same as when I had COVID. So I COVID tested, and it's not COVID, so that's good.
Yeah, but that's not always.
Seems to be rearing its ugly head again around here.
A little bit.
But yeah, it just felt like the same as when I did have COVID, because I never had fever or body aches. Just like felt like I had a cold and a headache that is pretty much nonstop. But
You just gotta test your taste and smell.
that's it. Yeah, I didn't lose any smell this time like I did the first time.
So at least there's that.
So we're back down here to talk about some more wrestling. Another week has passed, and it's Friday night, pretty late, getting a late start here, but we've got plans. Tomorrow you've got a scheduled, organized trip to a mall of a fair distance from us, almost an hour away.
Large mall.
With 3 of your buddies, 2 of which no longer attend the same school and moved out of the area, so you don't get to see them as often, so that'll be nice. So you'll get up to trouble there, and then we're going to try and get you to a movie, I think. What movie are you seeing, by the way?
The Marvel one I don't want to see.
Oh, I was afraid you were going to see the same movie a third time, that other one.
I would honestly rather do that.
So on a scale of 0 to 10, how much are you looking forward to this?
1.
1. Now, is it because the other guys want to see it?
Well, it's just
Or there's nothing
we always
better?
do that.
Or you just always see
it's
it's what you do.
One, yeah,
And honestly, if it's terrible, you'll have fun ripping it anyways.
I guess.
There's value to be.
In theory.
Yeah, there's value there.
Possibly.
So, and then in the evening, we have, at least I will, I guess you won't be there because you're going out. But
Depends how late we are, I guess.
yeah, there's down the street. We always talk about our street has a bunch of stuff organized. So it is the ugly Christmas sweater party down at the other end of the street. So I'll be heading out there with your mother, your brother, probably for a bit.
Probably.
And it's funny, sorry, not to totally shift gears here, but you just had wrestling figures in your hand. So, and I was telling you, I'm looking forward to the trivia this week. Those figures might come in handy for the trivia. I'll say that.
Why is it one of them?
No,
Is it figure?
just figures in general, not those specific ones even.
Seth Rollins? No.
So anyways, you'll see. But yeah, we will do some trivia in between talking about AEW Dynamite, some other wrestling. And then do you have figuring stuff this week?
No.
Nothing in figuring?
I don't think so. No.
Might be a short. Why do I even say that?
No, don't bother, because
Yeah.
we have to talk about deadline. So
And no matter what, we're always an hour and a half to 2 hours. So
honestly, you just sound like an idiot.
I know.
saying at
That's
this
why I
point, you just
stopped.
sound like
that's why I stopped myself.
it's just
this
false advertising.
It is.
at this rate. So
It is. So I don't know. Did you have anything else you wanted to discuss? Bantery?
I saw that movie again. I guess we kind of mentioned that.
Yeah, you saw the same movie twice.
New Hunger Games one. Exactly a week later, which was the funny part.
Your aunt is wondering.
Wait, was that this week or was it last? No, yeah, I think it was this week.
Your aunt
No,
is wondering if
yes.
you want to see the
That
Von
was
Erich
last week.
one that's coming out.
Yeah, we probably will. Yeah, right. So on
Well, I think
Christmas
she
break,
might
we
want to take you or something over the break.
Yeah, you should come see that, I guess.
Yeah, I probably would, just for something to do.
Yeah, even though I've been over the Von Erich story a bunch of times. I think I watched.
I'd say we'd review it, but I don't want to sit in there and take notes, and there's no way I'll remember enough to talk about it.
No, maybe
After the fact.
if it's out somewhere, we could do that, but definitely not.
Yeah, like on a watch at home, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, we did No Holds Barred, so I can't imagine doing this would be that bad.
No Holds Barred was a classic. What are you talking about?
That was great. I was just saying to you that we should review something really
Something
crappy
really
again,
bad.
like
Because you want
'cause
to
we
punish
did-
me?
WWE ECW's December. Just remember, we did No Holds Barred. I
We
was
did.
thinking maybe, honestly, if the NXT thing isn't working, then we could do old WCW, like late WCW.
I told
Or
you that
I was thinking we could switch the Good Gold Days to just doing Takeover, so that it kind of
goes faster.
it's not as
But again, I need the
Long.
network to
yeah.
work.
So for
So-
either of these things, it's going to be a little tricky, but we are trying to do something.
I still haven't been able to access the network. So I've expressed those frustrations many times. So I won't go back into it, but network in Canada, no good. Can only watch what's on the channel. Can't pick what I want
Which was what was it earlier?
because nothing works. I don't know.
I keep seeing like in the mornings, Untold Goldberg's undefeated streak.
So fun.
So I've seen the tail end of it twice, and I've seen the one time I saw a bit more of that.
Who broke the streak?
Kevin Nash with
Correct.
the cattle prod.
They booked himself, right? Probably.
He claims not.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, Kevin Nash.
Not.
But anyways,
I
I
mean,
don't
he
know.
did. I think he claimed as Hogan and Bischoff, which I mean, if you're gonna
Of
claim someone
course,
else, that's not a
it's
bad claim
believable,
though.
right?
So
Totally believable.
yeah.
But anyways, I'm hoping to get through this and get to bed and feel better tomorrow. So let's start talking about some wrestling in our first segment every week, where we take a look at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, ratings wise, this week's NXT averaged 626,000 viewers, down 5%, earned a 0.19 in the key demographic, up 5.6%. Ready? Here it is. Second lowest audience total for the show since July 4th. Meaningful or
Was that
not?
Great American Bad? No, because that was a PLE. So
Went head to head with the quarterfinals of the NBA in-season tournament, which, if you care, I'm a rabid NBA fan and I'm enjoying the in-season tournament. AEW Dynamite averaged 823,000 viewers, down 4.3%, earned a 0.25, down 13.8. Lowest rating the show has done since October 25th, which was the opening week of the NBA season. Ties the third lowest rating Dynamite has done in that category all year. So not
no good.
great for either company this week. Not terrible, but nothing amazing either. I would say another light news week, but what do you have for us?
Very light week. The main thing I got was that Kyle Riley's reportedly been backstage at AEW lately. Or
Now I've got
returns
one
potentially
less.
Soon. Yeah, it's probably the best thing I found this week, just because we love Kyle Riley.
We do. Good Canadian boy. So what I found too, so he's been out of action for more than a year, right?
Since I think his last match was, remember, against Mox, right before Forbidden Door.
Yes, and in an Instagram post apparently on Thursday, he said, "quote he might be a wrestler again by the Canadian tour."
Yeah, we're getting Diamond back in Toronto, so we'll probably head up there
Right.
again.
So since June 2022, and he was neck fusion surgery, right? So it'd be great to have him
The
back.
big one.
So that leads into my first news story, actually, where AEW announced 8 Canadian dates for 2024.
Oh, I should have taken that. That didn't even come to mind.
So it includes combined Dynamite Rampage tapings as well as Collision dates. So no pay-per-views, which is a
We
little
got
disappointing.
screwed out of Forbidden Door again.
So
I
that-
mean, in theory, there's more pay-per-views, so that could be announced later on. Maybe it's just like, because this is what it was. It's early 2024. I'm pretty sure, right? Like hold on, I'll pull up the post really fast just so we can talk about that for a second. But okay, so here
It's Ottawa,
is.
Quebec City, Toronto, London.
Yeah,
is
so
all I
March
know.
16th is Ottawa, Canadian Tire Center for Collision, which is our country's
Mid.
capital, right?
Although, like last time, if tickets end up being like $8 because no one wants to go, I'll try and go again.
To Ottawa.
Not Ottawa, no, heck no. But
London?
is there a Collision
In
London?
London.
London or Toronto would be possible for
It's
us.
weird because, well, I would love to go to the Toronto one because that's where we were the first time. But then March 20th is Toronto Coca-Cola Coliseum, which is where the first Canadian
We were
Dynamite
there.
was.
Yep.
We were there.
We were at the first one ever.
March 27th is Quebec City. Then they're going to London for Collision on March 30th, which is weird if they're going Ontario, Quebec, London. Or sorry, which is back to
So
Ontario.
those London Collision tickets could get real cheap, I have a feeling.
That's Quebec?
London?
So you meant the London one? Yeah,
London.
probably. Then Winnipeg, Dynamite Rampage April 10th. Edmonton for Dynamite Rampage May 8th. May 11th is Vancouver Collision, and Calgary July 10th for Dynamite Rampage. So it's like the first half of the year. So there might, I feel like would they announce Forbidden Door separately? No, because they announced it like with the whole tour last year. So maybe like fingers crossed. I mean, it's highly unlikely because it's not like we get a pay-per-view every year. But if we get one, maybe we could get one of the latter ones, like just spinning off, because obviously we have like Full Gear Worlds and
Yes.
Wrestle Dream. But
And now that
I
there's
doubt
12,
they will.
there's
now that
lots
there's
of
going to be
time.
12, yeah, there's a lot of potential. I guess there's that.
Yep. What else do you have? I only have a couple more, I think.
WWE officials are reportedly high on the Grayson Waller Austin Theory team on SmackDown.
Really?
Also, I saw Grayson Waller almost got attacked at a house show. Like a fan tried to attack him.
I heard they're a team. They probably are a heat magnet, I guess, right? Would be the theory. No pun intended. Didn't even mean that one.
I don't know, because no one really cares about Theory anymore.
No, but I don't know. Waller is good.
I think in theory, okay, it's a
Wow.
it's a good tag team though, because they like just on paper it fits.
They could do a really effective douchebag tag team for sure.
I've heard there's plans to push them through WrestleMania season, so we'll see about that. But like on paper, they definitely make sense together.
I think so too.
I guess we'll see where that goes. I mean, they do need tag teams, so if they can build them as an effective one, then, and not just make it two solo guys.
Yeah.
Like, because they could be a good team if they actually.
I think
tried.
so too. So I think this is my second straight year doing this. The new NIL recruiting class is always fun.
Mid.
Now, what does it stand for?
Next in line.
Okay, so you know what's funny is someone told me it also, or instead of what they actually mean is name, image, likeness, which is like when they sign over all of your stuff. Like they own the rights to your name, image, and likeness. Anyways, ready? Here we go. Adam Berghorst, 6'7", 260-pound baseball player. Baseball, not that common.
That is a weird one.
Snuck through there.
That is a weird one.
Bailey Humphrey, 5'10", acrobat.
That's a funny name.
Not a surprise.
A female.
Story checks out.
Female.
Darcy Kahn. I think if they don't give the weight, it's a woman. Because the men all have the weight beside
you
them.
don't know.
Darcy Kahn, track and field, 5'7". Desmond Coleman, track and field, 6'4", 250. We've got Grace Stevens, track and field, 5'5". Lots of track and field these days. Another track and field, Jeremy Cody, 6'7", 220. Big boy.
And why are these people becoming wrestlers? It's so weird.
A football player, Josh Piercy.
Okay,
there you go. That's normal. We got way down the list this year
who's
before
done
we.
Football? What, Ron Simmons, I think, did. Roman's done it. Brock's done it. Pat McAfee's done it. Corbin's done it.
Still haven't hit a amateur wrestler yet. That's weird. So Piercy is 6'2", 245. Callie Terza, track and field, 5'4".
Why? Why so much track and field? That's a weird one.
Lucas Davidson, wrestling. There you go. Ding, ding, ding. 6'2", 235.
I'd like to see someone make track and field their gimmick like Kalani Jordan does with gymnastics. Because I don't what are they gonna start running or
sprinting? Wear spikes. Bring a starting block and
bring a javelin or something or one of those high jump poles.
Yep.
Oh, beat Drew McIntyre with his sword, but it's a high jump pole.
Exactly.
Oh, high jump into the ring.
Pole vault, you mean?
Pole vault, whatever. Yeah, that's what I meant. Pole vault. Yeah, pole vault into the ring instead of Sin Cara's thing.
Yes.
Do that.
Perfect.
And
and it's a weapon when you turn heel too.
And it's a weapon, but then it's also legitimate because instead of having this weird little stupid trampoline, you just pole vault into the ring. I actually would like to see that. So if we got a pole vault, I would actually.
Plus the figure would be cool. You'd get a pole vaulting pole.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Where'd I leave off? Momin Zahid, football player, 6'5", 295.
Yep.
Big. Football makes sense.
Just football.
Gymnast, Serena Linton, 5'2". Gymnast, Skyla Schulte,
Dana Brooke,
5'2". A cheerleader, Slane Glover, 6'1", 205.
Slane's an interesting name.
Stephen Buchanan, a wrestler, 6', 200. So I don't know why I bother. We don't know any of them, but it fills some time in the news.
It does. They'll probably all amount to amazing.
Pick your breakout star from the list. It's going to be whoever's name you remember. Go.
Slane,
you're saying Slane Glover from
Ohio
State.
That's the only one I could think of.
Okay, that's good. I'll take Callie Terza because I like the name the best.
That's not fair.
That's my breakout. Next breakout star.
This was rigged.
Yep. And then anything else? I only have one more.
The only one I have was Deanna Prazo is going to be a free agent in weeks. Her contract expires early 2024. Bring
her to AEW and push the heck out of her.
You can dream.
One of those two things could happen. The first part. The second part, probably not.
That's the tricky part.
They only have room to push one or two women at a time. So get in line, I guess. Or instead of pushing, I'll talk about this later. Instead of pushing the ones you have there, you bring one back and immediately throw her into a high profile. But
Serena
Deeb. Should have been her.
I was joking to you because that Supreme Britt Baker figure is everywhere right now.
Everywhere.
It's she's not on TV, so why would you want her?
Right. The only thing I have is apparently WWE is considering calling up someone from NXT. Did you see this? Who would it be?
Okay. Give me some hints.
A veteran, not
Corbin.
Not old, a young veteran.
Corbin.
No.
Oh, the dyad.
No.
Young veterans. Yeah.
No, I didn't even mean that.
Who's in NXT?
Who's recently had ties to main roster people?
What, the Cousins?
Formed a tag team with them even.
The Cousins?
The Cousins? Who are the Cousins?
Carrillo and...
No, sorry. Just a single. Came from UK. Wow.
Who?
Tyler Bate? Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the report adds that size isn't considered that much of a big deal now that Vince is out of the way, and that
I would hope so, because otherwise he's screwed.
And that Triple H is more open-minded, and then they're kind of speculating even further that he would probably or possibly join Butch, because Butch, I guess, was abandoned by the Brutes.
Nope, Pete Dunne.
And Bate was an honorary Brute already.
Yeah, he got abandoned by Ridge Holland the other week.
I did not
remember
know
I
that.
talked about it, and then now nothing's come of that. Yet.
No.
Still no Pete Dunne. Like, why? Okay, we have 2 weeks left, or like 3 weeks left. I'm going to be furious if my promise was not fulfilled. I was promised
won't
Pete
be.
Dunne this year, and I'm
Who
not
by
getting it.
who?
The news people. The news people told me that.
Right.
And I have not gotten it yet. We're this close. I swear to God, we're this close. I will gladly bring Tyler Bate to do that. Just so that Pete Dunne can heel turn on him and they can start feuding again.
There you
Because
go.
that's money. And honestly, if he doesn't end up on SmackDown and he goes to Raw, Tyler Bate's not a horrible pick to beat Walter. Would I pick Dragunov? Sure. Would I also take Tyler Bate? Sure.
Yep. He could be awesome on main roster if they use him right. If they truly don't care about his size, because he's not
that'll
big.
be the real test.
But him
if they actually
airplane
care.
spinning some huge guys is always fun to see.
I would like to see if he could pick up Bronson Reed.
I think he did Dabakato, didn't he?
He did Dabakato once. I don't. He could probably. Do you think he could take Omos then? Omos and Dabakato.
I don't know. Maybe not for like a super fast, tons of revolutions, but
I'd like to see if you could
get him up there.
Pick up Bronson Reed or like maybe Otis.
Lash
Legend
Otis is.
Otis.
I feel like Otis is expanding rapidly.
Yeah, I mean Lash Legend got him up, so.
Yeah, true. That's true. That was actually super impressive.
I did see that. That was cool, actually.
Say what you will about Lash. That was pretty impressive.
Not like her promo this week, but
no. But anyways, let's get into talking about some wrestling because I'm tapped out of news, and so are you, right?
Bad week.
It was not a great week.
Bad week.
But we'll find out if AEW was a great week because we will start talking about what we always do, which is this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. Talk about Dynamite, my son. Remind me what I watched.
First thing I noticed this week was they were reusing the collision set.
You did notice that,
quite
right away.
strange, but I think they taped collision the Tuesday before this, so they probably just kept the set up because I think they're in the same spot.
I think so. Too. Makes sense.
This was Montreal,
correct?
I believe. But yeah, you can tell from the screen setup it was collision, and then also collision's got that like really like wide and then long, black like kind of glossy looking ramp.
Yeah, it looks like it's almost wet.
Yeah, or it's like really shiny, right?
Yeah, it is like so patent leather.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, collision set on Dynamite, which is kind of interesting, I guess, for me and me only.
I noticed once you pointed out.
Mm-hmm, sure.
I would have been like, it looks different. I probably wouldn't have been able to say that's the collision set.
Technically, it's also the Forbidden Door set from this year because they just did that.
I was there for that. Did you know that?
I was there too.
Really?
I think.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure. I seem to have some recollection of that.
Yeah.
Although I might have fallen down the stairs. It was either me or
that
someone
wasn't
else.
you.
It was either me or someone else. I don't know. But we kick off with more Continental Classic Gold League action. This time we got John Moxley, who's up 6 points, versus Rush, who's got 3. Moxley's Death Jitsu shirt. This time it says Death Jitsu and then it says at the hard cam, which I thought was really funny because these hoodies don't make sense to me, but I love them.
Those are your favorite ones.
I want to get one because there's the Death Jitsu hoodie. I think it's its own thing, but then Moxley's got his own, which is like the long sleeve shirt that says the Death Jitsu Pure Garbage. So I'd want to get both of those because I like the hoodie, but I like the Moxley one too.
Yeah,
I think it says Blackpool on the back too, which is kind of cool because people would be like, "Why am I wearing a Blackpool shirt?"
True, and that we've been enjoying this. Before you get into it, we've been enjoying the tournament so far. Not that we've seen anything on Collision, but
I don't. Yeah, from what we see, nothing's missed so far. I think.
I just forget, and then I don't have time, and then I don't care enough, and
yeah.
Never.
Collision,
I have best of intentions, and it's just like nah.
Danielson Andrade is this week, so I feel like that's gonna get your attention for sure. And then I was telling you on Rampage, Orange Cassidy's defending his title again against Angelico, which gets my attention because
FNS loves Angelico.
I always say justice for Angelico, even though it'll never come, but any spotlight for Angelico is more than welcome over here. And that reminds me, I like the tournament and all, but I think once this tournament's over, we need to get Cassidy back on track.
Cassidy and Takeshita and the Callis family.
Yeah, Cassidy and the Don Callis family are kind of losing out due to the tournament. Like the Callis family's on Rampage lately.
Whoops.
So that's weird. I also saw like Fletcher's got like red tights to match them now. It still says Aussie Open, so that's good.
That is
but
good.
It's just strange because I've only ever seen Aussie Open wearing gold and green. So
right.
That's strange. But that's a what do we call it? A digression. There we go. It
is a digression.
Notables from the match. There was a chop exchange, bit of crowd brawling. Really nice, quick scoop slam from Roosh. That was nice. You know, the Randy Orton kind of style thing.
Randy Orton does the Roosh one. Okay. How dare you?
Right. Superplex from Mox for 2. Roosh hit a bigger superplex later on, also for a 2 count. Mox hit a suicide dive. They both barely beat the count back in the ring. Mox cut off a bull's horns with a big lariat, followed by a Death Rider for a near fall.
I was happy
surprising.
Roosh got that.
Yeah, me too, but I'll kind of talk about that in a sec as well. And then right after, Mox choked him out with a sleeper.
He did.
To get the win.
And
so
no
Mox
tap
is,
out.
No tap out. Mox is up 9 now.
Yeah, it's funny. They brawled for so long in the crowd that commentary had no choice but to point out, like, wow, the ref's really lenient, right? Because it would have been like
it is Roosh,
50
though.
count.
It is Roosh.
But then again, like later on, he does count, and they barely beat the count.
Yeah, I was
that's
kind of
little...
like, you could argue that disconnect, but like with the ref leniency and with Roosh did the thing side, and then maybe it was like a one trial thing, but now he's like, since they already did it too much, now you got to rein it in, kind of.
I guess
like
so,
you could defend it.
And I liked Excalibur immediately afterward explaining that this meant with Moxley winning, Briscoe and Lethal were in must-win mode, so that like adds a little bit to
that was nice touch,
each of their stuff. But a little too much brawling for me early on through the crowd and stuff. But then I thought it settled in and was entertaining and really physical opener. I think it's great that Roosh got like a 15-minute match, competitive match with Moxley, because I'm hoping this tournament sort of people get to see Roosh and go, man, this guy is pretty fun to watch, right? And he did kick out of the Death Rider and he didn't tap out, so that also keeps him looking really strong. And yeah, I'm just hoping that people sort of catch on to Roosh and maybe demand to see more of him, because I would like to. So I thought this was a good start.
I sound like a broken record, but another solid TV match as the tournament chugs along. Another really good one. I thought the crowd brawling was a bit of a diversion, but other than that, it was really good and a hard hitter. Mox's Death Rider is taking some blows in the tournament, though, with Briscoe and Roosh kicking out of it. It's still surprising, and I like it. It does give a bit of a rub to both of them, but just with all these matches in such rapid succession, I would like it to be like
Protected.
Maybe a little more, like, it is still protected, but maybe you pick one of them to kick out of it, because I don't mind that bit, because it did surprise me both times, but just as long as it doesn't happen again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I liked Roosh's reaction to losing, though, because he like passed and he woke up and he was kind of like, what the hell? So that was cool. Moxley won as expected, but this was still very nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Then we got a quick promo package with Jay and Jay, that being Lethal, and I wrote Switchblade, but that is, of course, Jay White. White says he looked up to Lethal when he was cutting his teeth in ROH, and he says things have changed quite a bit. Lethal says to look at the scoreboard, and he needs this win. White says he's 1-1 in the Continental Classic. He's also 1-1 with his record with Lethal. And Lethal says he's backed into a corner. That's when he does his best. White says he's going to take the 3 points and the record between the two of them. It was really simple and short here, but I thought this was really nice. Adds a little something to a simple tournament match. So I liked it. White is always great on the mic, so I never have a problem with him talking. Pretty
much exactly what I said. Like the segments like this take almost no time out of the show, and they add some simple, nice context to what.
And I appreciate it more when it's a tournament match, because you don't need to.
Right.
Have
There's
this
already
here.
that.
I didn't need this, but this helps me for sure.
And it's just like, oh, they have met before, and it's 1-1, so this is, or whatever. Yeah, 1-1, so it's like almost a grudge match too. So I thought it was good.
Commentary could tell us this, but I like it more when it's them talking about it, right? Then we get Renee interviewing Roddy and the Kingdom on the stage. Strong was shouting Renee, and then he shouted Samoa, and then said Joe. Normally, that was really funny. Strong said actions have consequences. He kept yelling names. He claimed he's in the wheelchair because of decisions he made and this is his life every single day. He got out of the wheelchair. Taz said it was a miracle. Miracle Jones.
Miracle Jones. There was no Jones this week, I don't think at all.
Nothing to note, at least.
I didn't note anything.
Taven shoved the wheelchair out the ramp as if Zack Ryder was in there. And Strong said the wheelchair held him back for far too long. I thought this was all right. The funny part to me was when he said Samoa Joe's name, he yelled it like Adam Cole, but he only yelled the Samoa part, and then he said Joe. Normally, that just like, that's when Roddy makes me laugh. He's funny sometimes.
Yeah, I guess it's just like to tell us he's done with the chair now.
He's gonna start wrestling maybe, which is good, because I saw he's facing Roddy Hangman next week. That's pretty nice.
And he's probably right about MJF in the long run, right? That he's gonna turn on somebody here.
I saw a nice touch at some point. I was the one time he was talking to Cole. He's like shouting, "He's the devil," and you think he's talking about MJF, but he's pointing at Cole at the screen. So
You never know.
I mean, I still would subscribe to the notion that it's Cole, Roddy, O'Reilly, and the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
That just makes sense.
I heard
But
someone say that
yeah,
it's kind of like, I don't know if I don't want to spoil Scream for you, the first one, in case you
I
watch
don't
it,
care.
but that it
I'll forget.
could be Cole and Britt Baker as like a tandem doing it.
I don't like that Britt Baker's involved in this. I just don't like.
Yeah,
Would like that it gets her on TV,
I'd
but
like
I feel
if it
like
heats her up.
she
Yeah,
should do something related to the women's division. I don't think being involved in this would do her any favors in
it'd just be
the
like
division.
they have now a faction with a woman. She's the woman in the
I
faction.
guess, yeah.
Like Julia Hart,
Yeah.
although she is the faction now. She's the only one that gets attention.
I
now.
guess. But yeah, I agree. This was solid. It just gets him kind of back on a more serious track, but there wasn't much to this.
No,
I
I
thought.
kind of lost focus.
I was
don't
kind of
think it
trying to
great.
tie it back to things with Cole, but I didn't really get there.
No,
It just kind of felt, I don't know.
I didn't love it.
Renee is back on the scene. This time she's outside MJF's locker room. Hangman Page walks by and he was talking about how he couldn't fly for a few weeks after Full Gear because he got hit in the back of the head with a cinder block and choked unconscious with a chain.
He
Because
did.
Swerve's a mad lad.
He is.
It's crazy. It's been like, what, 3 weeks, he said, since that match?
Mhm.
Like, that's wild. November just disappeared, I guess, because felt like I was just witnessing that spectacle for the first time. And here we are. Just time. Page said Swerve broke into his house and got near his son, so this is personal. He said Swerve beat him and he can recognize when he's lost, but he said it's not over. He knows because of what Swerve did to him, he knows what Swerve wants most in this life, and he will make sure he doesn't have it. I'm assuming referring to the title.
He is.
MJF walked out of his room to mock Page about his match with Swerve, saying it was them trying to fight to see who could get the most STDs. They exchanged a lot of words. MJF bragged about being for the Dynamite Diamond ring the first time, and Page said he had to console himself about becoming the world champion. MJF congratulated him on a 6-month reign and while bragging about his reign for over a year. Page said MJF will be 70 years old by himself, telling his 12th cat about his year-long title run. MJF said he thinks Page is the devil of everybody in the locker room, which I was like,
Pretty random.
like maybe he's just lashing out, and that you can make that argument, but just on the surface, I was like, yeah, okay. Hangman said MJF's a manipulator, and it's probably MJF that's the devil. Fair. Smojo walked in saying MJF was his responsibility now. He saying that to Hangman, and then he kind of turned to MJF saying they have other things to do tonight, referring to the Devil's Men, and that they don't involve Hangman. And MJF and Joe left.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I love this.
I liked it, but it's kind of like MJF being a heel. He's like picking a fight with a top babyface. And
I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, he's still this guy.
yes, and it's like little bits of heel bleeding
And
through. And
yeah,
he
I like
can't
it
help
because
it.
it's him. It's the true MJF
I hope
bleeding
that's
through.
what it is.
And well, cause like at the end of the day, he's still the devil. He's still MJF. It's just this is him. You know, Hangman took a couple of shots at him, and now MJF, his ego, that's still deep down there. He can't let that go, and then let this here. And also, I love Hangman, so I'm just glad to see him back again since the almost match of the year. This interaction was great because I loved all the callbacks to their history together.
I love
and all
Joe
their
in it,
accomplishments.
too.
I like Joe as well. Yeah, MJF felt like regular old heel MJF as well, which we'd love. This whet the appetite for an MJF Hangman feud, which I would love. That would be awesome. I saw a fantasy booking that Hangman beats MJF for the title and drops it to Swerve All In. I don't oppose that, is all I'm saying, because that could totally work. You know, Hangman, I would love for him to get another run because Mr. Brooks ruined that for me, and I agree. I love Samoa Joe's role here because I think his whole shtick of keeping MJF on track with his thing and the Devil's thing, I think that makes sense, and I like that.
So it sounds like Paige's thing involved with Swerve.
Kind of though. I feel like it's like something like he's gonna they're kind of long conning it because it felt like he's kind of moving on, but like he's gonna get back at him one day. You know what I mean? Like it's like an eventual thing.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me.
Because I was wondering if he stays involved with Swerve, and Swerve, the crowd loves Swerve. Is there a chance we could get a heel Hangman somehow?
I don't want heel Hangman.
No. I do like him as a
Hangman's perfect
babyface.
as he is, and I think there's Swerve. I don't want him to be a babyface. I don't care if he gets cheered, but he's so money as a supervillain guy.
But he's so cool is the problem too. Not a problem, but like is the reason.
He can do enough to get.
He's so
It's
cool.
just you gotta put him with the right people.
Yep.
Like Hangman. Just don't bring him to Washington again because that clearly disrupts everything. Speak of the devil, not that one.
No.
We get Swerve Strickland next, who's got 6 points against Mark Briscoe with a big fat old 0.
And the crowd is really behind Swerve, right? Even though he is an awful heel.
Pretty decently, yeah. But I mean, we are in Canada this week, so they always tout that as Bizarro Land, which.
But I also made a note that commentary don't talk about him like he's a heel either. Considering what he's done, they don't give him the heel treatment.
They probably should do that because
yeah,
I want Swerve to be a heel.
It's like they're caught up in the crowd, the same thing. Like he's just so cool and fun to watch that we cheer when we see him.
Yeah, but he's got to rein in I think with the tournament, though, he can't be as heelish as he usually is because he doesn't have the Embassy or Nana. He's not speaking on promos, but I mean, he is a little later. But yeah, no, Swerve's a great heel, so I really want him to stay as he is.
Me too.
Even if he gets cheered a little, he's just babyface Swerve wouldn't be the same because he's just once he crafted this super heel character, it's something else.
Yep.
There's a strike exchange on the apron. Briscoe follows Swerve around ringside with chops. Nice suplex off the barricade from Swerve because his new thing is doing things off the barricade. I guess the pile driver on the barricade.
That was amazing.
Nice. Corner high boot followed by a fisherman buster from Briscoe for 2. That was nice. Roll through flatliner from Swerve. Then he does like that leap up. Instead of hooking in the suplex, he just hits him with like a little roundhouse kick for 2. Swerve counters a J Driller, but Mark tries to reverse into a sunset flip. Swerve rolls through, hits a house call for 2, which again, it's such a good kick move. It's perfect.
Loves it.
I love it. Briscoe gets knees up on a 450 splash from Swerve, gets a near fall off a roll up. Swerve also gets his knees up on a froggy bow, a near fall off a crucifix pin. Death Valley driver on the apron from Swerve, which seems to be like a somewhat staple of his moveset. I know he's done it a few times. I think he did to Hangman with the cinder block he did with Darby once, because Darby's always gonna do something on the apron where he hurts himself.
Has to.
But yeah, so that's a nice staple of his moveset. And Swerve picks up the win with the Swerve Stomp as always.
Another really good back and forth tournament match, and again, like just that simple story of Briscoe needs the win to stay alive, and I kind of enjoy his style because he always comes across like he's trying so hard, right? Like
I do like that, yeah. Like
it's really endearing.
Never like the biggest fan of Briscoe, but I will say I do enjoy him for sure.
In the role he's in, right? As like he has really good matches and the crowd can get behind him. He's great to put up against a heel.
Yeah, which is good for Swerve because Briscoe's crazy popular.
It's not surprising that Swerve stays on a roll here. Briscoe has a good showing, but nothing to show for it. So got like 16 minutes, which is great, filled with quality matches that are getting a bunch of time on TV. So I don't know if I'm on board with the stakes involved in this tournament at the end of the day.
I'm starting to care less and less about that just because the tournament itself is delivering.
Exactly. They're good matches.
Yeah, and I think that, I don't know, the Triple Crowns, it's, at this point, it's almost like it is what it is for me. I'm kind of accepting that just because it could be turn out to be better than we expect, but the tournament's good, and so I'm gonna take that as it is.
Yep.
And the 3 belts are just kind of an added slight bonus. But yeah, I keep repeating myself, but another really good TV match from the tournament. Swerve never disappoints, and Briscoe's really good. I keep saying I'm not a fan of him, but like I do like him enough, and in the ring, like you said, he's good. He always looks like he's got a lot of heart in the match, you know.
And he's just different a little bit, right? Even the redneck kung fu and
the redneck kung fu is a nice little shtick.
Bow
yeah, he's just got a different way about him, and he, like you said, he always looks like he's putting in the effort, so I like that. The style contrast was really nice. The crowd ended up getting really into things, which elevated the match a bit at the end, because I think having a good audience is really important. So they really picked that up, and I noticed towards the end that they were getting pretty hyped.
Yep.
Some cool spots, though. I like the parallel between both of them, missing dives and getting roll-up near falls. Swerve was always going to win this, but as he's been on a roll lately, but this is still strong bell-to-bell. It was unfortunate Mark had to be the first to be mathematically eliminated, but someone had to fill the role. At least his matches have delivered. Swerve's up to 6 with Moxley, which is what we'd like to see. Moxley's my boy. I'll always love him. But again, I'm going to say AEW's got to be ballsy and have Swerve beat him. That would do him wonders, as he's clearly on the rise right now. Again, I love Moxley. He's my guy, but at the same time, he can do wonders for people by losing. So when it's necessary, I think you got to do it. Next, we get Renee interviewing Mariah May. She talked to Tony Khan about her debut match. She didn't say who it's against. She said tonight's about Tony Storm's AEW women's title defense. That was pretty much the gist of it.
Just teasing a mystery opponent, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
And getting her on TV.
I was hoping for debut confirmation, but I guess not yet. But she sounded fine.
She does. She seems very comfortable, so we'll see in the ring.
Next, we get what we think is Samoa Joe and MJ versus the Devil's Masked Men. Joe makes his entrance, then the lights flicker, then they go out. Then the masked men appear around the ring as there's some light trickery. The lights go out again. Masked men are gone. The devil appears on the Tron. Then we cut to the camera catching up with an unconscious MJF with a bottle broken over his head. Backstage as Joe sprints to the back. I don't usually love a bait and switch because it's kind of cheap, but I think that makes sense here because it keeps the devil and his goons anonymous. Because like, if they were in a match, it just wouldn't really work out because they'd either have to get unmasked by MJF and Joe, or their styles would be, people would be able to point something out, right? So I think this makes sense. It was a good bait and switch because I did really want to see, like some answers, right? So I was a little disappointed, but I did kind of like it, and I like that they were kind of messing with Joe here because his whole thing right now is keeping MJF 100% for this, and he just got baited to getting Joe away from MJF so they could beat the crap out of him. So I did kind of like that. That was a nice bait and switch.
Yeah, my problem is the lights out, the control of the production truck stuff is really corny and
A little bit.
takes me out of it. It's retribution and scripts type stuff, which are both objective failures.
Yeah, they're walking a thin line here because I feel like if the payoff's not good, they will be grouped in with retribution.
Yes, so that's a good point. If the payoff is good enough, it's all forgivable, right? But it's kind of bugging me a little bit. It's very cheesy. Very cheesy.
That's fair. Then we get Moxley with the promo backstage. He was saying he's humble before God and his mother, just his mother. Moxley said he expected to be 3-0 in the Continental Classic, and he said he's the ace of the world. Swerve came in saying he's 3-0 too, that being wins, not points, obviously. Both have 9 points now. Swerve said he'll do whatever it takes, and Moxley said that's good because he will too. Swerve said see you in Texas because that's where Winter's Coming is. Winter's Coming is not dead.
Correct.
That's good.
So this feels like a fresh matchup that I really want to see.
It has to be.
And now there's really good stakes attached to it again from this tournament. And I mean, I'd be fine if someday they extend this feud and it'd have to end in some bloody stipulation match, right? That would be
I feel like
awesome.
their Texas Death match would probably be crazy.
And the promos leading to it would be amazing. So
Moxley would have to be babyface because, again, I do not want babyface Swerve ever again.
So this match, just another gift from the tournament. And I will say I stand by my opinion from earlier that some people in this tournament, including these two, are beyond this tournament. So I don't know how you rectify that. I'm almost like I don't want either of them to win the tournament because this feels like a step back.
I want Swerve to win it because I think it's something for him. I think the title's held up right now. I do, but the title's held up right now. There's programs for MJF to be working. I think this tournament, it is. Regardless of the stakes are kind of wishy-washy, but it is a quote-unquote big thing for him because it's like this.
I don't feel like it is though.
The Triple Crown thing inherently.
I feel like it's smaller than beating Hangman in that match, and it's a whole tournament culmination. I don't know. I don't know. He's bigger than this.
I don't know what they could give him that is big enough though, because the title he's not gonna be able to get it right now.
I know, but then wait till he can.
Then
I don't want him pigeonholed as a mid card.
Well, then what are they going to do with him in the meantime?
I don't know.
That's the thing. You got to do something.
Have him feud with Omega.
This is something.
For no belt.
I guess.
Keep him and have him win.
But then after this, Ospreay's coming in, and if you think Ospreay's anywhere else but the main event, then...
Yeah, I don't know.
So...
I just don't want Swerve to lose any momentum because I'm loving him right now.
I think he could keep the momentum with us. He could make it mean something.
He could.
So there's that, because Swerve can elevate it. If you give Swerve those belts and have Nana hold a couple of the belts and have Nana dance with the belts.
Yeah.
Like something like that. But back to this. I loved it. Moxley's great as always. I like the short bit he had before Swerve came in. Their little interaction was perfect. Swerve comes across so cool. I like they're both just going to stop at nothing to win. And there's some nice stakes here with both of them being undefeated. Swerve needs to win here, though. I love Moxley. I always say that. He's my number one guy. Always has been. Probably always will be because I've just always loved the guy loads. But I'm signed out. Okay. But Swerve's another favorite of mine. He's on fire right now. He's great. And I think I saw a draw would be kind of acceptable here, but I really think the right move is for Swerve to win. I think maybe you could do these guys have a draw right here. They both get their 1 point. They both go undefeated, and then you have another match to decide because I think one way or another, Swerve deserves to beat Moxley here. I think that's... Regardless of how you feel about the end goal here, I think beating Moxley is a good way to keep Swerve's momentum because Moxley's he's made. Dare already. I say he's the guy in AEW because he's been there since pretty much day one. He's been their go-to guy, The Rock, when stuff like goes to crap. And so I don't know. I think that'd be really great. But I'm looking for the match a lot because these are two of my favorite guys, maybe of all time, but definitely right now.
For sure.
So this will be great. The whole time I've been talking, it's only just loading now, so I'm just waiting for it to load.
I can get us started on what's next because you didn't get the reference anyways.
Yeah, you can do it.
Because next is Tony Storm defending against Sky Blue, and we'll just talk about remember Ben Mankiewicz doing a little.
Yeah. He did an intro for Storm.
And it was so I actually watched some Turner. I'm really cool, so I record random old movies like decades old.
Yeah, I'd love to know how well
Turner
this
classic
went over
movies.
because I know you get it, but I'd be curious to know how many people did because it doesn't seem like I mean, I could be wrong, but just based on how you're making it sound, doesn't seem like a thing a lot of people watch.
And something they do is they'll like go on a stretch of a certain movie stars, a whole bunch of their movies in a row, and then this guy will come out ahead of the movie and talk about whatever their legendary status and what they did and stuff. So that's what this was, treating Tony Storm like just leaning into the gimmick even more that she is this, I don't know.
Yeah,
movie
it was a nice
star.
little bit for her, I guess. But
Yeah.
it was lost on me. Next time we get Tony Storm against Sky Blue.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because remember last week we were trying to figure out who her title match was against, and then I just saw it on a post later, and I was like, oh, it's Sky Blue.
And she's permanently ditched the hat for the crown. I think she's going to circle back around to being aligned with Julia Hart.
Probably, which I don't care, and I don't like that, but probably.
That feels like it still to me.
It still feels like something.
Even though they're trying to make it seem like she's moved past that, but I think that little crown's going to come into play somehow.
Yeah, and she's still doing the weird makeup, which it's weird. Also, her theme, I hate it. It's just like, I can't understand. It just sounds super metal, and I just I never like that. Metal and just like death metal and
speed metal
and like this metal in general, like it's too much for me. Or like, I don't know what other genres are similar, but I've seen like some
Screamo
on Instagram where like it's these guys doing like a metal cover or something or whatever, and it's just like it's so much yelling and it's just like stop. You know how many times because I've seen the one post from the one band, like, because it comes up on my like the Explore feed, and it's just like how many times when they're singing their mouth is full wide open, it's just like you cannot. You know?
Yeah, you could not.
Some notes from the match. So Sky Blue's on the apron and Storm like sitting on Luther's shoulders and like throws her off the apron.
Yeah,
kind of weird.
Not my favorite spot, but I feel like we're gonna keep getting it.
Probably.
Or stuff where they involve Luther somehow, or whatever his name is now.
Best thing Luther's done because he's not making weird faces and not wrestling. So there's that.
And I feel like he looks like 10 years younger somehow.
Yeah. Because remember, Luther made the weirdest faces. He was always like pointing at the paint on his head and doing like with his tongue. That's a great noise for the podcast. You're welcome, people. And then remember the one time he wrestled on the Jericho Anniversary Dynamite?
Yep.
And we hated it?
Yep.
That's the only time I remember actually watching Luther wrestle.
I did not enjoy it.
Because I'm pretty sure the rest of the time he's been on Dark or whatever.
Just seemed really immobile, reminded me like PCO or something.
Hey, PCO does moonsaults. I don't think we've ever seen
Barely.
I don't think we've ever seen a Luther salt.
He does PCO salts.
I'd like to see a Luther salt. So, Luther, get on it, bud. That's Canadian. Same bud. I usually don't. I usually don't. Sky Luther crossbody for 2. I always get like weird typing like. So I wrote diving crossbody from Blue. It's always weird.
You my boy, Blue.
Yeah, it's just weird. Blue hits a hip attack in the corner, followed by a face wash boot. That was actually pretty good.
It was.
She did it like Storm, so that
she
was
did
pretty
it.
Good.
Yep.
Code Blue for 2. I was telling you, it's one of those moves where it just like Storm looks stupid waiting hunched over for it, you know. And I don't think it's like the stomp. The curb stomp usually works better, but this it's like. She's standing in the middle ring, hunched over, and Sky was to come from the side and like do this weird spin over. Like you could just do the code red like a normal person, and it would look better. There was the one time, what was it at Full Gear, where it looked awesome because it was fast, and
she needed to hit it quicker.
She didn't do it from this. She did it like Statlander tried to powerbomb her, remember? And
she
like that's better. I don't know why you do it the worst way. That's the only good one I've liked. And then there was the one. What was it against Red Velvet? That was like, remember, really, really bad.
Yes.
Oh, anyways, superplex and a hip attack from Storm. Sky Blue countered a Storm Zero into a jackknife pin for 2. Then Storm reverses it into a pin from for the win. After the match, Riho's back. Yay!
Yeah, Riho comes out and I'm gonna sound like the type of wrestling fan that generally annoy me, but I'm not sure if this Storm thing is a championship gimmick. The more like the Luther stuff and the going black and white mid match,
And
the more stuff they add, the more I'm like, this doesn't feel. I'm not saying it's not enjoyable, but it doesn't fit your
no, and
champion
you were
to
definitely
me.
more on board with it at the beginning, and then
I was.
I kind of like, I started off confused, then I kind of liked it. Now I'm kind of going down on it a little, and then if this is the case, which I kind of agree with you, I feel really bad for Sheeta.
Yeah.
Again, I'm still of the opinion I think Storm would have benefited from losing,
hmm
and Sheeta just gained nothing from that title
Her
run.
losing would have almost explained her like snapping and going crazier
Yeah,
and
exactly.
embracing
That's
this
what I was
more.
saying. And Storm winning did nothing for Storm really, and like lost everything for Sheeta. Sheeta got entirely screwed there. Where's Sheeta been?
This is not elevating the title for
No,
me,
this isn't
right?
elevating the title. It's not.
So
It's not even elevating the division. We started out by saying like it was good they're pushing someone and trying something new with her,
mhm,
but
it's
it's
not
like
paying off so far.
it's kind of not working. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. The match was fine, but
I
it's pretty
thought so too.
unspectacular. Sky Blue is still far from amazing. She had one match I liked, and she's still not great. Storm was solid, but not her best work because Sky Blue is not a quality dance partner. Doesn't benefit Storm a lot that she only beat Blue by a roll up. Like that didn't do
hmm
her wonders. Riho returning again does nothing for me. Never been a huge fan of her, and I feel like they do this every now and then where she randomly returns because she was in Japan or something like that. Excalibur said the Outcast took her out last, but I legitimately have zero
Me
recollection of
too.
that whatsoever. Like
Yeah.
I'm only remembering now maybe Storm faced her at Battle of the Belts, I think,
hmm
but I don't even remember if that was Storm or Jamie Hayter. Like I legitimately do not know.
I don't either.
And I'm pretty sure I just blocked it out from my mind because I said the words Outcast and Riho in the same sentence, so I guarantee I didn't care.
Yeah, like I thought the final few minutes of this were decent.
Better.
Blue has some decent move, but it's like I always say, like the stuff between the stuff. It's like I'm watching a person acting and behaving like a wrestler rather than watching a wrestler. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
probably just an experience thing and a getting comfortable thing, but I'm like keenly aware that I'm not watching something real.
She's just like super unpolished.
And Rio, like if you're an FNS listener, you know that's not moving the needle for us. We don't really have a big problem with her, but in this case, like what's wrong with elevating somebody who's been underused and on the roster the whole time?
Yeah, and instead of trying with Sheeta, you want to bring back Riho.
Right.
And furthermore, what's Riho's deal? I don't get much explanation with Riho.
And speaking of Hater, when's she back?
I don't know. We need
I
haters.
kind of forgot about her.
We
Yeah,
definitely
she's
need
cool.
hater. Yeah, no, this was. I was gonna say something else and then I forgot, but it probably doesn't matter.
Okay.
Next we get Edge and Christian's promo package. They covered their history with some old photos of them. Christian talked about being held back by Edge, who got everything Christian didn't get. He said he's here to be the best and everyone else is expendable. Edge said Christian threatened his kid's future and now they have a problem and he will take what Christian values most. Christian said he's the face of TNT in AEW now and forever. And Edge has Montreal sees some fights over the years, but none like this. This is also spliced together with clips from their previous segments.
Yeah, Christian's an amazing heel. I don't think they've established Copeland as a babyface that I should care about. They're just completely relying on everything WWE rather than giving him any time to do anything here
Christian
that
is
might be different
Christian
or
is fleshed out
interesting.
for sure, but Edge definitely needs something other than that they've been lifelong best friends, and
Right.
because that is heavily reliant on other stuff, and this is one of the things where it's less alternative like,
and it
which
feels
is worrisome.
it feels more WCW, like bringing them over and all the history is everything they've done everywhere else.
Which is also worrisome. I've
Yes.
seen some people saying that, and I kind of want to brush off the notion, but sometimes it's kind of hard to ignore it, so it's a little concerning for sure.
Christian promos are amazing. The rest of this, fine, I guess.
It was a
I don't
solid,
know.
it was a solid package. Christian was entertaining as always, and it's not a lot new for anyone who knows, but it was solid, I
Yep.
guess. Then we get Continental Classic Gold League once again. Jay White, who's got 3 points, Jay Lethal, who's got none. They are facing off, both Jays. And I was just saying, even though he wouldn't be around in the tournament because there's no interference, but I sorely miss Juice Robinson. He's just a little shining bit of light in my week, and he's just not
He
here.
should be back doing like promos and
He
stuff.
should do promos.
Soon as he can travel, maybe.
I would much prefer that than like nothing, because I miss
Could
Juice
happen.
Robinson. I love Juice Robinson. I probably the only person who's talking about Juice Robinson when he's gone. But damn it, that's what we do here. We talk about people who people don't think matter.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that many times, like Kip Sabian and Tyler Rust and etc.
Absolutely.
Anyways, hip toss followed by a cartwheel and a dropkick from Lethal. He tried it once before and he didn't get the dropkick, but then the second time did it. He did really nice and fast.
Strings it together really nicely.
Yeah, it was really nice. That's a Kushida move as well.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I just thought of Kushida being serious in jeans, which is funny. Lethal combination from Lethal. Diving elbow drop for 2 from Lethal. White hyperextends Lethal's left knee in the corner, followed by front transfer suplex in the corner. That looks really nice.
It did.
Brainbuster from White for 2, which is also pretty nice.
Looked really vertical.
Chop exchange. White was able to hit a sleeper suplex, which is also a really good move.
Yeah, it looked awesome.
The finish came in, so after a series of counters, White cuts off a Lethal injection attempt with a chop block, because he was kind of targeting the knee a little, right? Then he goes for a Blade Runner, but Lethal counters it with a roll up. White rolls through and he sits down a pin to pick up the win. So Lethal's also mathematically out, I believe.
Mm-hmm. A really good match. The finish was a little underwhelming for me.
I thought it was a little, because it was pretty similar to the women's finish. Although I did like this one better, because I thought the counter was nice.
It'd be nice to see, like, if they're going to have Lethal lose all the time in this tournament, which they clearly are, I'd like if it sort of changes his character somehow,
get him out of that faction,
and he does something different, right? I think Jay White continues to give opponents a lot.
That's what I thought. I thought maybe he didn't get enough in again.
But he still finds time to get stuff in, and his stuff looks really cool. And I'm sure other people, especially since he's kind of new to the company, appreciate somebody, in my opinion, who could be a top guy giving so much to other people, right? So another really good TV match, as you're going to say too, I'm sure.
Yeah, another strong TV match, with my only complaint being that I think maybe White didn't get enough in again. I think he did get some good offense in towards the end. I really like his stuff, but I don't know whether it's just the match booking or White is just, like you said, willing to make his opponents look good. But I feel like he's had a few matches on Dynamite where I just wish he'd get more in, because he deserves to be looking like the top guy that he definitely is. But I do respect if that's his choice, to give guys a lot of offense, and I think he does make them look good. So there is always that. Regardless, both of these guys did well. I thought the finish was well done. The rope reversal was craftier than the women's match we just had, so I think it was similar but better. Even though Swerve should take the whole thing, I'm glad Switchblade is at least still in the running behind him and Mox, because I wish Switchblade could win in another circumstance, then yes, but
Yeah.
I think maybe if you could have taken Swerve out of this and given it to Switchblade, because I think Switchblade, it would be a better holding pattern for him.
I agree.
And then
He's sort of not on an upswing right now.
Yeah, because he just had his title program, so it's a little different for him. Not that he's not a top guy, because obviously Jay White is fantastic.
Yep.
But he just kind of, he's on the downswing, right? Just as you kind of are when you're out of a title program. It just kind of makes sense. Then we go to our main event, which is Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland for the TNT Championship, and I will refer to him as Edge from here on out, because I only type
I probably
Adam
will
Copeland.
as well.
I only type Adam Copeland when I have to. Christian Cage is alone as Luchasaurus.
Kill switch.
Luchasaurus. I was saying that Christian's finisher should be called the Luchasaurus now.
It should.
But Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne are absent.
They are. All alone, Christian.
All alone.
For now.
Christian attempted a low blow early on, but Edge grabbed his hand, placed it on the mat so he can stomp on it. Pete Dunne does it better. Christian pulls Edge in the turnbuckles on the outside. He hit his neck off like the actual turnbuckles. I thought that was pretty well done. Side Russian leg sweep from the middle row from Edge. Execution DDT. Sit up powerbomb from Edge for 2. Christian leapfrogged over a spear really nice, and he hit a Luchasaurus for 2. Christian goes for a spear. The ref gets knocked while Edge was ducking out of the way, which would look kind of weird because they didn't exactly catch it.
Even commentary, like, we didn't see it sort of thing, yeah.
And Christian just, like, as the ref's kind of, like, hunched over, he just straight up kicks in the nuts to make sure he's down. I thought it was kind of funny, just with little to no hesitation. Edge ducks a belt shot, then they both go for a spear at the same time and collide, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Looks good, yep.
Shayna Wayne comes down after hesitation. She hits Edge with the TNT title. Christian then hits a Luchasaurus again, puts the Edge's face on the belt and stomps on his neck. Then the ref wakes up and Christian scores the win.
Yeah, I thought it was a good match.
Good main event, not my favorite style of match.
And I assume that they're also saving a few things for the inevitable bigger match, right? That will probably have stipulations on a
as long
pay-per-view.
as Edge doesn't win the title from Christian.
I know. I don't want that either. But I feel like he's got to get his come up.
He can beat Christian, but like, why isn't like in the build up, just have Christian lose the title to someone I like?
Yeah, maybe. And as a person who loves AEW mostly for being an alternative to WWE, this is not what I'm looking for in a main event.
It's creeping a little towards the thing it's supposed to be different from.
Even though I am currently loving Christian, this still is not
I
what
need Christian against someone
here.
who's more AEW.
Yes, exactly. So, and I wanted your thoughts on the finish to this in terms of like, I hate to use this term because again, people annoy me with this stuff, but is it overbooked?
I don't think so.
I didn't hate it either.
I don't think.
And remember, you and I are like,
like at first we were kind
both
of
had
like,
that. Why is there hesitation? But
then it kind of made sense to me because then I was like,
he almost killed her son.
I'll kind of talk through it here, right? Yeah, because so Shayna Wayne being conflicted. Also Shayna Wayne is just funny because it's just how similar sounding that is. But it confused me for a second why she's conflicted. But then like once you think about it, you can totally understand where she's at right now because Christian is Christian. He's unbearable. He's insulted her to great lengths. He's corrupted her son and disparaged her dead husband.
That has never hurt him, I guess,
right.
physically.
And then Edge concertoed him, like basically we'll say like, not snapping his neck, but like giving a head injury, we'll say right in front of her with no regard for her even being there. So there's that, right? So there's Christian being himself versus Edge is like, like almost killing of her son basically right in front of her. So it didn't make sense to me at first because you would think the easy move is she's going to hit Christian. Why would she hit Edge? But then it kind of makes sense. So I actually did like that once I thought about it because it makes sense for her. And especially if you're a parent, just I feel like the mental state there would be like, you hurt my child.
Yes.
I'm going after you, regardless if she like is siding with Christian or not, because that's what I was a little lost on after. Is like I'm wondering if she's gonna go full heel or if it's just because to get back at Edge.
Yeah.
Either I could see going either way, but I thought she played her role well once again. Like for a non-wrestling person, she does really well on TV. She seems to do pretty good. So I like this. I thought the finish was good. I enjoyed it. Emphatic win for Christian as expected, which is what we like to see.
Yes.
Keep that title on him. That was nice. I liked he kind of was posing with the title as well.
Overall, I like the show. The tournament matches were good. I don't think the main event was my favorite match on the show, I would say.
No.
I might have liked a couple others better.
The tournament was definitely better.
Yeah, so Mox Roosh good. I like that. I don't know, this show's feeling like I'm going to go a good solid B, I think. The women's match didn't do much for me. There were no like amazing segments, I didn't think, this week that were...
I like
really
the
good
Hangman
ones,
MJF one. I think that's pretty sweet.
And we got a little bit of swerve and whatnot. So I thought it was a B show. Quite good this week. Not amazing, but good.
So yeah, a solid main event that was at least built to. I think that it did feel like a main event.
True.
I think that was the best thing I can say about it. And a good finish there, but definitely not my favorite match. My favorite one, I don't know. It might have. Who did Swerve face again? It might have been Swerve and Briscoe. I think it was probably Briscoe Swerve.
Yeah, I like that a lot too.
But the opener was really strong as well, and Jay versus Jay was nice. The women's match was the letdown. I thought the Devil angle was solid. I really enjoyed Hangman and MJF. I really enjoyed Swerve and Moxley. That's who it was. The Roddy thing was okay. I thought we had a couple of solid packages here. I was a little high. I would give it a B+. Nice. I thought it was a pretty solid show.
I'm glad.
All in all.
Nice. Okay, well, that wraps up our Dynamite review. We're going to move into a little bit of trivia next on a segment we call Off the Top of His Head. All right, I like my idea this week. So let me pull up what I did here. We're going back to ChatGPT, and I said, can you describe these wrestling moves based off of their names? So I give them the name and they just describe it. So I'm going to give you the description. Some of them I think are pretty decent. And that's why I thought you might want those figures to like go step by step as it's just not on the hard surface of the table
whatsoever.
Bring that towel over as cushioning. So here you go. Ready? The wrestler starts by facing their opponent who is in a standing position. The wrestler then hooks both of the opponent's arms behind their back, typically placing one arm, this is the detail I don't agree with, under the chin and the other over the back of their neck. While the opponent's arms are secured, the wrestler bends them forward at the waist, positioning them face down and parallel to the mat. The wrestler...
Pedigree?
Yes!
That's what I was thinking.
Very good.
It's just, no, because when you're talking about hand over the
Yeah,
that was like. So then I started thinking like a sleeper, but then I was like that. No, but I was thinking pedigree honestly when you had said arms behind their back. So I got it, but I was just trying to wait for more.
So now you get how it goes. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. The wrestler starts by facing their opponent, who is typically in a standing position as well. The wrestler then reaches down, grabbing the opponent around the waist or under their shoulders. Lifting the opponent onto their shoulders, the wrestler positions them in a fireman's carry with the opponent's body draped across the wrestler's back.
That's like how the fireman's carry works, yes.
Yes. With the opponent in this elevated position, the wrestler rotates their body and swings their opponent off their
F5?
shoulders. Correct.
That's what I thought.
Nice.
I was thinking either F5 or AA, so it just depended on the next.
So the final steps there, as the opponent is propelled forward and upward, the wrestler transitions the movement into a spinning motion, turning around and releasing the opponent midair. Pretty decent description.
Yeah, considering I'm getting it fairly simply, I think that's good.
This one I think you'll get for sure. The wrestler typically approaches the opponent, who is usually on the mat or in a vulnerable position. Using their hand, the wrestler extends their fingers and places them into the opponent's mouth.
Mandible claw?
Correct.
Okay.
And then it applies pressure to the nerve using fingers, etc., etc.
That can't be really much else.
Here we go. This one I don't agree with their description. We'll see if you can get there.
Okay.
There's only 4 steps. The wrestler starts by standing face to face with the opponent, who is typically in a standing position as well. The wrestler then hooks one of the opponent's arms over their shoulder and places the opponent's head under their other arm. With the opponent's head secured, the wrestler grabs the waistband or tights of the opponent, lifting them onto their shoulder. The wrestler then falls backward, dropping to the mat, simultaneously drives the opponent's face and head into the mat. So driving face and head into the mat, I agree. Falling backward, no. Falling forward, I think.
RKO?
No. So I would say you have it beside them and you sort of hook, and then you both fall forward.
Like,
I think.
Skull Crushing Finale?
Yes. Because they have it going backwards, right?
I was not at that whatsoever.
No.
I was thinking
because when it says the wrestler then falls
didn't you say
backward,
over his shoulder, they don't fall back. That would be
nobody
a Russian
falls
leg sweep.
backwards.
They both fall forward.
And the over the shoulder part.
That didn't make sense to me.
So they're weak on that one. I tried to get it to do drill claw, but I don't think it did it right, so I didn't include it because it was saying the wrestler then grabs the opponent's head, placing it between their thighs and similar to a power bomb. That's not correct.
No, at the end, sure, his head's in there, but like.
Okay, so here's the next one. The wrestler typically climbs to the top turnbuckle or another elevated position, such as the ropes or the ring apron. From the elevated position, the wrestler faces the ring and the opponent, who is usually lying on the mat or positioned in a way to receive the move. The wrestler leaps off the elevated position, performing a forward flip while simultaneously rotating their body 1 1/4 revolutions.
Phoenix Splash?
No. The objective is to land with precision on the opponent, hitting them with the full impact.
630?
No, too far.
450?
Correct.
That's what I thought. But like the 1 1/4 just made me think it was like 630.
This one I thought was pretty good. The wrestler starts by positioning the opponent, who is typically in a standing position, in front of them. The wrestler then lifts the opponent onto their shoulders in a fireman's carry position, with the opponent facing outward. Instead of executing a standard fireman's carry slam, the wrestler transitions into a modified electric chair position with the opponent's head still tucked under their arm. The wrestler then jumps or falls forward, driving the opponent's head and upper body into the mat. Simultaneously, the wrestler can add a mid-air rotation, turning 180 degrees so they end up facing upward. Not really. So this was I think the most telling part. I'll read it again. Instead of executing a fireman's carry slam, yes, you got it.
How is that fireman's carry at all?
It was the transitions into a modified electric chair that's helpful.
Yeah, but for me, there's no fireman's carry in there. That's what disoriented me.
I agree, and that's why I was trying to stress the next part of that instead.
He just lets them up in an electric chair, and then he's
he usually just gets under them and stands up.
Yeah,
he doesn't fireman's carry.
I don't know if he's ever done it like that.
But you still got it. Good for you. I tried to do Death Rider, and it was like Death Rider is a term associated with Moxley, but not a specific move. So
that's not.
You're dumb, Chat.
That's partially true. I mean, it used to be the paradigm shift, so maybe if you did that.
So this one says climbs to the top turn. They actually use this move they associated with one person. Chat GPT did, who I don't. He probably does it, but anyway, so I'll take the name off. Typically climbs the top.
I'm curious to hear that after.
Typically climbs the top turnbuckle or another elevated position facing the ring and the opponent. From the top rope, executes a backflip in midair, rotating 180 degrees. As he completes the rotation, he extends his body horizontally.
Moonsault?
No, and it says
Star?
it says resembling and a blank, but that'll give away.
Frog Splash?
No. Resembling.
Phoenix Splash?
No. Resembling an arrow.
Oh, Black Arrow.
And they said that who does it typically?
Literally only Pac.
It says Will Ospreay.
Maybe, but
Okay.
I don't.
It mentions nothing about Pac.
If anything, Osprey's got the leap of faith. That's a different thing.
Right. Okay, next one. There's a couple more. I think I did 10 or 12 or something. I'll go till the list is gone. The wrestler starts by standing over the opponent, who is usually lying on the mat. The wrestler takes one of the opponent's legs and bends it at the knee, raising the foot off the mat.
Calf crusher?
The wrestler then crosses the bent leg over the other leg.
Figure 4.
Correct. The next thing I was going to say was forming the number 4, which I think I would have skipped over to make it a little harder. All right. This one I was a big fan of. I don't know if we'll get it right, but sets up the opponent by grabbing them. So tag team maneuver. Okay, I'll give you that. Grabbing them and positioning them in a front face lock. Not sure if that's accurate. The other member of the tag team performs a running, jumping knee strike to the back of the opponent's head, stunning them and bringing them into a kneeling position. This is the helpful part. Simultaneously, the member holding the face lock drops down to the mat, driving the opponent's face and upper body into their knees. That part is the only part I visualized correctly. So what would it be when you're driving your knees into someone's upper body?
Codebreaker.
Okay. That's the second part of it.
Shatter Machine?
Yes.
Okay.
So the first part didn't sound right.
No, because didn't they say front face lock or something?
Yes.
Which that's not.
I agree. So that's why I'm trying to focus on the part that makes sense to me, because it probably makes sense to you too. But you got it.
I was not thinking right for a bit.
I tried to do buckshot lariat. It wasn't very good at all. So this one I don't know if you'll get. One member of the tag team lifts the opponent onto their shoulders. Other member of the tag team climbs the turnbuckle and ascends an elevated position. The member of the turnbuckle then leaps off and performs a diving blockbuster, driving the
Street Sweeper?
Yes.
They actually noticed Street
They
Sweeper.
did. I was surprised too.
Did they say Fireman's Carry?
They
Or
did.
they just said on their shoulders.
I said on their shoulders. They said fireman's carry. So I cut that out.
That's not.
They don't know what a fireman's carry is.
No,
Last
Street
one.
Sweeper is perfect.
This one was just for laughs. Typically sets up his opponent by performing a boot, which is a high swinging kick with his right leg.
Hogan's leg drop?
Yeah. And then it said, after delivering the big boot, bounces off the rope to gain momentum. Extends right leg, drops it across opponent's throat. And then it says, while performing a leg drop. I wouldn't have said that part.
So, wait. What's he doing while performing a leg drop then? He's just extending his leg and dropping it while he's doing
That's
a leg
right.
drop.
So I don't know. I thought you did a good job, and ChatGPT
Did mostly okay.
Yeah, but then a couple
just they
things messed
were
up.
they were a little liberal with the use of fireman's carry. Yeah.
That'll be our new running joke anytime anyone does anything. It's just a fireman's carry.
Get someone up in the fireman's carry.
But anyways, good job. I thought that was kind of fun. Anyways, we will shift gears back into talking about the week that was in wrestling and things we liked and didn't, whatever we watched. It's Highspots and Restholds. All right, so you're just double checking Raw stuff, and you said there wasn't anything super interesting.
Blue Ring.
Shayna Baszler lost to Nia Jax, which you love.
Yeah, and Punk was talking SmackDown, which I also love.
Yes.
I love both those things equally.
So I'll get into some NXT then, and then some Impact, and you were actually around for some of each of that.
Impact was boring.
I've also been checking out MLW pretty consistently right now, just because I'm curious about this big old 80s style faction that I forget the name of that they've got going on with everybody in it.
World Titan Federation.
There you go. Oh, yeah. It's the WTF. Ha, ha, ha. So clever. But anyway, so NXT this week, we go straight into the Women's Iron Survivor Last Chance qualifier. So everybody that lost the qualifying match gets one more chance
Because they suck so bad.
So it's Roxanne Perez, Thea Hale, Fallon Henley, Kiana James, and we start out getting a recap of the fact that James and Perez just can't stop brawling every time on site, as the kids say.
Ever since she lost the title, Perez's only thing is that she has feuds where she can't stop fighting people.
And she's not just an innocent little kid. She's
someone who can't
now.
stop fighting people.
Yes. Will they be able to focus in this match? That is the question, right? So I thought it was interesting. They go after each other immediately as it starts, and the other people pull them apart because
they don't want them to fight and beat each other up in the match.
Exactly.
Where you're supposed to fight and beat each other up.
It's not like you could say, well, they don't want them to take a pinfall. Well, I don't think it's believable that in the first 4 seconds they're gonna get a pinfall
it's not
off
like
a brawl.
Security where it's their job to.
So I thought it was strange.
Yeah, it does not make sense.
We see Lyra is Valkyria, that is, watching TV backstage. I thought
it was the other Lyra.
I think not incorrectly, if I remember. Anyways, I'm not sure. So there's a door behind Lyra, and it's those doors that have like the rectangular window in them. And through that window, you can see, I think it's Tatum Paxley. She's doing like a creepy thing. Tier. She's creepy and spooky now.
She's creepy and spooky now. Nice.
And I think she was lurking in the background of NXT at some point last week. I don't think I mentioned it, but I'm pretty sure she was there. So anyways, as this match goes on, we have all 4 brawling on the floor after Hale dives onto Perez. Kiana James uses her bag on Perez. I guess there's no DQs in this, right? And then throws Perez into the barricade. We get a Tower of Doom by James to Henley and Thea Hale. I think Hale was on top, Henley in the middle, and James on the bottom. Perez is clearly trying to show more fire here, and it's a conscious change because commentary are also mentioning that to us, of course.
Manufactured.
She clears off the announce table at one point, and then she and James get on the barricade, exchange strikes. They both fall off and crash through the table. I don't know if it was supposed to be someone delivered a move to somebody, but it really just looked like they both kind of fell off the barricade or stepped off the barricade through the table, but I guess it was a spot. Back in the ring, Thea Hale gets a roll up for a near fall before Henley hits the Shining Wizard.
I thought that looked really lame.
She has a name for it. I didn't catch what it was. And Henley picks up the win after 10 minutes, which is kind of what I thought. And I think she could actually win the Iron Survivor. I don't know if they want to tell that story, but she's been interacting with Lyra, and it's like that respect, I'd defend you if you were the one sort of thing. So they can go face in that route. Anyways, I thought all 4 women in this are solid of some of the women that are in NXT. So I thought it was entertaining enough. It felt fast. It could have been longer probably. It had a memorable spot, I guess, with the table. No real glaring mistakes. The pace was almost frantic, which wasn't a bad thing. And I think Henley makes sense as the winner because, again, she's been dealing with Valkyria a little bit, and she could end up winning. Then we get, after a Lyra Valkyria Lola Vice brief interaction, Wes Lee is kind of...
Are they doing the thing with the contracts like the Money in the Bank? Because remember Mello did it and it was weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
I still don't like that.
I know that they can do whatever they want with it.
Well, it's not Money in the Bank.
I know.
Like, it was weird. That was 2.0 though.
So it's a surprise because Wes Lee is shown using a crutch backstage heading into a commercial break. And then after the break, he's in the ring cutting a very heartfelt promo. He's going to need back surgery. He has no feeling in his legs. Excruciating pain. He cries. The crowd is like silent because they know this guy is probably just being truthful at this point, and it sucks because he's been on quite a run in recent NXT. He doesn't know when he'll be back, but he says they'll return to cement his legacy.
I saw it was 8 to 12 months, which is
that's
pretty
crazy.
gnarly.
So Dom comes out, and it's a great time for him because the crowd hates him in general, and they're really like...
And it's like tensions are high right now.
Yeah. So he says that his back hurts too from carrying the company for the past 2 years, which I thought was pretty funny. He figures he has the night off now at Deadline because Wes is out, but of course Wes sort of interrupts him and tells him that he'll still be defending. And then Rey Mysterio comes up on the Tron and says that Dom will be defending against Dragon Lee, with Rey being in Dragon Lee's corner.
Because, I guess.
And then Dragon Lee shows up in person. Dom narrowly escapes a powerbomb. Yeah, you're right. Vic Joseph, that Wes will be out 8 to 12 months.
That's pretty wild.
Feel really badly for him because he did hit his stride as a singles competitor this year.
For sure.
Doing like that fighting babyface stuff, right?
So second-rate Orange Cassidy, but that's okay.
Using that mute button today. So
getting good use out of that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that they took the opportunity to have Dom come out and pick up some real heel heat out of this.
That's really good timing, yeah.
Yes.
And it's not like Ambrose saying something about Roman Reigns' leukemia, because it's not actually hurtful.
Right. And I think Dragon Lee's a fine replacement. At least he's got recent NXT
Yeah,
time.
I was thinking they kind of already did this.
And it should be a good,
but does he win, do you think?
I felt like Wesley might win because Dom, I
thought Wesley would win, but then again, that's partially because Wesley's like, there's like kind of the story there because he got cheated out of the title. So,
and I don't think Dom's
with
doing
Dragon
much,
Lee, I don't know. Dragon Lee also just got called up.
Exactly.
So it's like, are we really gonna have the North American title on a different main roster show?
Yeah, either way, it's on a main roster guy.
So it kind of doesn't work. I would rather keep it on Dom. I'm not saying that's me thinking who's gonna win, but like I just think it would be better to keep it on Dom just with Judgment Day.
I think it's time to move it off of Dom, but I don't think this is the place to do with the fact that it is just Dragon Lee
I would say
thrown
you
in
could,
there.
If it was someone else, I would do it now, but I think you just kind of wait it out.
So then we go Kiana and Perez. Guess what? They're brawling in the trainer's room now.
No.
And I forget her last name, but Izzy, she's like the tall blonde.
Izzy Dame?
Yes, Izzy Dame. Good.
Why do
in
I
the
know
first round of the tournament. So Ava shows up and says she'll get the match official by Saturday. So this, I was telling you, is 2 weeks in a row where Ava...
What did she do last week?
Something else where she went and talked to Shawn Michaels.
I don't remember.
Or she came out and was like, I was just talking to Shawn Michaels.
Why? She's just not creepy and weird now? Is that
so it's gone. They're just positioning her, it feels like, as an authority figure or adjacent to it.
I was telling you, that's a really strange pivot.
But I think, and I told you, because she can't wrestle.
Yeah, that makes sense. But like,
she's Rock's kid, so
I'd rather have her as like a manager or something, because an authority figure is a really weird.
They can't just not use her, I think, is the problem.
That's fair, because I was gonna say I would honestly just train her a lot, because if it's your first fourth generation wrestler, they're gonna
maybe she's not picking it up. I don't know.
Maybe.
But anyways, I find the way she speaks really off-putting, not to be mean.
Not just because of her.
So I'm not a fan of her in like a frequent speaking role, but that looks like what we're getting. There's even further evidence, I think, later in the show. So all of the men's breakout competitors get a couple of seconds to hype themselves up as loud music plays in this little segment here. So I need a sip of my water, sorry.
Sipping commencing as I stall for sound
It
purposes.
Is all of these household names. Riley Osborne, I think there's some hype around him.
Don't know who that is.
Keanu, I didn't write what they said. It was all pretty generic. Keanu Carter, Tavion.
That's a generic name right there.
Tavion Heights.
I have seen him on.
These all came right out of the WWE name generator.
They're on. Oh yeah, for sure. Tavion Heights is a weird name. His Instagram handle is the Olympic Kid, so he's a wrestler dude.
There you go.
I have seen that he's been on Level Up a bunch.
Dion Lennox, Luca Crucifino, we know
him.
The attorney. Trey Bear Hill, which was like a Native American thing.
Bad name as well.
Looked like a big guy, I think. Miles Bourne, who we know.
Who's
right, part of Gulak's little group.
Gulak and Dempsey.
And Oba
Femi,
who we've seen before. He looked kind of cool.
He squashed Oro Mensah pre-metaphor.
Right.
It's because like I don't want to be that guy, but like I miss old NXT because when it was cool when Carmelo won it. Because
I don't see any Carmelo in this field.
There was no Carmelo one, but like because that one, like they were mostly outside. Like there was Blake Christian was in that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Was that the one where Briggs was in it? I remember the matches in that one not being very good,
mm-hmm.
but at least it was like there was some guys who felt like they could win. Like there's just when it's complete unknowns, I guess that's part of the point. But breakout doesn't mean you have to be like completely unknown.
Agreed.
Like,
breakout means you're ready to break out. Not that I've never heard
made
of
sense
you before.
Because Mello had been there a little bit before.
Yeah.
And he was known for his indie work, but then like he could use the tournament to break out. So now it's just like, and yeah, so there's a bit of disconnect for me. And Perez, it also kind of made sense for her to win it.
Mm-hmm.
So just I don't know. I don't like when it's just all these unknowns.
It is very unknown. We'll see how it goes. Then we get Tatum Paxley taking on Lola Vice, and Paxley is in fact doing this new creepy crazy woman thing. I guess.
Don't understand why she's doing that.
I don't either. There's been no explanation. I don't think we're just supposed to notice she's doing it for now.
Like Sky Blue, although except
pretty much
Paxley didn't get misted. So
bunch of basic stuff. Paxley hits a power bomb out of the corner. Crowd is not interested. I put in brackets understandably. Bunch of Lola kicks, hip attack, sudden spinning kick to the head, and Vice wins in 4 minutes. Paxley sits in the corner and like strokes her hair or sniffs her hair or something as Lola Vice celebrates. I thought it was a little rough to start, got a bit better. Some of Lola Vice's kicks actually look pretty good, a lot better than Petrovic, who's kind of doing the same thing.
The one with the sword.
Like, I'm a shoot fighter who's now here fake kicking, and they look really fake. But anyways,
Her names are okay because it kind of sounds real.
I guess at least they're trying to do something new with Paxley, but I didn't find it very interesting at this point. It's just like, oh, wow, she's crazy now. And then you get Axiom and Nathan Frazier kind of joking around backstage or something. Axiom says maybe Frazier got what he deserved last week because, remember, he said that to Dragunov that he agreed that Corbin's life was better than Dragunov did not like that.
No,
so this kind of fires up Nathan Frazier. Axiom said maybe they could have a respectful fight later on in the show, which is the plan. And
it was the plan.
I'm getting these inklings of a Frazier heel turn, and maybe not in this match, but like a step or two in that direction. And he needs to do something different, but like with his whole offense being like, I'm incredibly fast and high flying, I don't know. They could make it work, I guess. I hate to be that guy too that's like, well, his offense isn't very heelish. Because neither's Pax, right? I guess.
That's true.
Although Pax.
But Pac does have heelish offense.
He does.
So that's the thing. Like, he balances out. Balances it out at least. I feel like now,
miss him
honestly,
too.
Most of his stuff is. I forgot he got injured.
He should have been in the tournament. That would have been cool.
Didn't he get injured again though?
I'm sure.
It was like right after Blood and Guts.
So then we get good old NXT Anonymous, caught Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams hanging out, and everything seemed fine. And then Trick leaves and Mello texts somebody. Now, I didn't make the connection to why this was important until they actually said so later. So I was like, okay, big deal. And it seemed kind of weird, like, oh my God, isn't it suspicious that Mello used his phone when alone in the room by himself after his friend walked out?
I would never.
I'm sure you've never had a friend leave your immediate presence and then gone on your phone.
No, I don't do that.
That would never happen.
That's weird.
So they kind of shoehorn it in. Like, that's what my line says. He texted someone while he was alone.
The audacity.
What a madman. So Joe Gacy's now in the front row and screaming at Vic Joseph, telling him that we love you, Vic Joseph. We love you. And that's all we really got of
I saw the ring bell thing, and it
Gacy.
looked so weird.
It was strange. So then we get Alpha Academy taking on the Metaphor. So this is intergender. Is that what they call it?
6-person mixed tag or
mixed tag, because
like
you've got Maxine and Lash, right? And then the boys,
right,
obviously.
Yeah, and then the boys.
So thankfully they start out with Dar and Gable because that's our best shot here. Gable gains an advantage, and Dar immediately wants to tag out, obviously, to Mensa. So then Gable dominates Mensa. Mensa scrambles to the corner, tags in Lash. Lash and Maxine only wrestle for like 90 seconds before Otis gets in and runs wild and hits a double suplex at some point. Gable then suplexes Dar, like flips him right inside out off of it. Otis flattens Dar with a nice looking back elbow, coincidentally enough. And then awkwardly, quote unquote, catches, like almost drops Oro Mensa and slams him before hitting the worm. And then I have, but Lash tags in and body slams Otis, question mark.
That was pretty crazy.
She did it pretty well,
pretty
man.
Smooth,
like
yeah.
easily the most memorable thing Lash has ever done.
Mm-hmm. Probably the best thing she's ever done.
They'll go back to that clip a million times, I'm sure.
It's a good clip.
Maxine kicks Lash off the apron into Otis's arms because we've got to further the Otis likes Lash and Lash is like... Because, exactly.
Okay.
Maxine jumps onto a pile on the floor, leaving Dar and Gable in the ring alone. And Dar goes for the Nova Roller, but it's countered by Gable pretty nicely into an ankle lock, and Noam Dar has to tap, which I figured this is how they were going to have Dar lose without losing the cup.
Rematch eventually.
So it was 11 minutes long. I thought it kind of over-delivered. I'd never seen Maxine wrestle. She wasn't terrible. She, like, nothing really to laugh at. I don't know if she is a wrestler or not. I assume she's not. But
Maxine, well, it's like Gable was training her for a while, so she's kind of wrestling.
it's like she's Zelina Vega, I feel like. She can do a few things.
Kind of, yeah. That's a fair comparison.
Lash didn't do much, but the body slam was awesome. I thought it was pretty frantic and fun. Otis's lame antics are not my thing, but it wasn't too much of him, I guess. Earlier this week, Gallus are not happy because Hank and Tank are in Gallus's pub. So they buy Gallus beers and want to talk business, and Gallus are like, you have until we're done the beers to talk, and then they're basically like start chugging the beers, obviously.
When did... Oh, that was in one of the Thor movies. That's what I was thinking.
So Hank and Tank want to get to the next level, so they want to pick a fight with Gallus, since they're like, you've done it all, and blah, blah, blah.
Wasn't done at all. They held the titles once.
And we're big deal in UK, I guess.
They held the UK titles,
that's all.
I guess.
That's all there is.
That's all there's. That's
in
fair.
wrestling.
Maybe
there's
the
two
bar
things.
Is too low. Yeah, in
NXT UK and NXT.
Yeah, that's
all.
It. That's all you can do.
Tag team, no singles.
They've done it all.
None of that singles nonsense.
No, that's for sissies. I mean, even then, Mark Coffey won the Heritage Cup. So boom, True. All.
Gallus agreed to face them next week if they leave the pub ASAP. And you know what? Hank and Tank are pretty believable in this role as like the young guys that are just looking. They're kind of comfortable.
Tag team.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have Ava again, furthering my greatest fears right now. She's speaking to HBK, or she says she spoke to HBK. We don't see it, and she got the Perez James match to happen, and it's a cage match. And even the way she talks here, like the way they scripted it for her, is like
cage match.
Is like every WWE authority figure. So I think this is happening.
They're all the same except for William Regal. William Regal is the best one ever. I'm gonna stand by that forever.
So then we get, this is where you join in. So you're the Iron Survivor Challenge Summit with the women.
Oh, this was bad from what I remember.
And who hosted just to make you love
Byron Saxon, because
he was rough here.
Byron's pretty rough. And it's like, because his thing when he was on commentary for was like he's always the punching bag, which like, and it's never funny.
And so he rambles quite a bit explaining things at the beginning of this, and I'm already annoyed. Like,
it's
get
weird,
into it
was
already.
Like this multi-person thing, but it was like so structured because it's like the summit.
Yes. So again,
like
the participants here,
each one, and like you can respond quick if someone calls.
That's all. That's exactly my summary. Is that formula?
Why is it so structured? That's pretty basic.
So it's Stratton, Legend, Davenport, Jordan, Kalani Jordan, and Fallon Henley. So basically, as you said, everyone.
Kalani Jordan's really annoying.
Every woman gets a chance to speak, and then there's a little bit of a back and forth with one of the other women. Generally, every time someone speaks to finish. I thought Stratton sounded pretty good. Basically, she'll be a 2-time champ, whatever.
I like 2-time Tiffy. That was nice.
Kalani Jordan did not sound very good, but she's super new, annoying. So whatever, it's fine.
She's with Mello.
Lash is actually entertaining, I thought, showed some personality. And then I put Then the Bell Rings, but I mean.
And she also made a really weird like shriek at this.
That's coming up, don't worry. Davenport brags about putting people on the shelf, and she sounds fine, but she's been ringing that same bell for a long time now. That's all all we know about her is she attacks people in the parking lot, and she's a heel.
Yeah, and attacking people in the parking lot in NXT does not make you special.
Does not. Henley sounds the most fired up. I thought she sounded pretty good too.
Her last line was really corny though. I hated it.
It was. I forget what it was.
She said, women who stay silent seldom make history, and then she said,
"Oh yeah."
Something to me. She was like, "Yeehaw, bitch." She said, "Bitch."
So Stratton insults Henley. Lash screeches really loud, and Jack is annoyed.
Really annoying. Oh my god.
This is where I add again.
That reminded me of Shotzi.
And I add again, Byron is terrible because he says something there that annoyed me. And then we get, yeehaw, bitch. Henley attacks Stratton. A brawl breaks out. I tried to be nice and I said, I guess this gave some inexperienced women a chance to speak live.
I don't know if I want that.
But it wasn't very interesting.
Bring back promo classes or something.
But no one got enough time to say anything interesting. And then it's like, oh, what a surprise. They all brawled to finish. Shocking.
Yeah.
They would never do that again.
No.
It's very novel. I think that's the first and only time it's happened.
Yep, and it's the first time. It's the only time it'll happen ever.
Then we do get, not really, Axiom versus Nathan Fraser.
This was disappointing.
I was wondering, why are these guys starting out so fast? They were just a mile a minute, as they're capable of.
I mean, for them, I guess it kind of makes sense.
So there's a few counters because they're familiar with each other, and then a double boot takes them both down. The sliding through the ropes German suplex was cool by Axiom.
And his moonsault to the outside was really clean.
Huge moonsault to the outside, and there was a nice anti-air super kick by Fraser kind of to the chest. But then as this thing is getting rolling, the Iron Survivor Challenge women brawl their way down the ramps awkwardly, right, as you do.
And decide to brawl into the ring, because, why would you stay backstage where you can easily hurt and injure someone with a bunch of random foreign objects? Why not go to the safe place where you're supposed to fight? And
then the bell rings, there's the match is thrown out.
Fraser and Axiom are just like, oh shit, people are coming, we're going to go out of the ring and let them fight here instead of having the match we wanted to
Exactly. And then, at the final, the cherry on top is Nikita Lyons is back. And she spins kicked Davenport on the ramp because Davenport's the one that took her out. And Jack says, You stopped the Axiom Fraser match for this, which I thought was quite an accurate statement.
I mean, it makes Rio's return look fun.
It's like, hey, two amazing wrestlers having
Who
a
have a
super
history of
fast-paced
having
match.
great matches too.
Nope. Here's Nikita Lyons.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Awesome.
Thanks, NXT.
Yeah.
Andre Chase addresses the Chase U student body.
This is boring.
Yeah, it's kind of like so basically he's the one that put the university in debt with his gambling.
You were saying maybe he's like
covering for Hudson,
Duke.
although Hudson's not playing the role like that's the case.
Maybe that's the point, though.
I guess Hudson's actually a jerk and thinks it's funny that this guy's
because he was joking about selling his trophy, and then he was like trying to get people to help so that like they could get so then they could cover and no one finds out. I guess because I would like it to be Duke's fault because it just makes sense because of the whole poker gimmick he had. And
Chase, I don't know, turning heel doesn't make sense, but I don't know.
Because he's like...
So basically, Chase U's under academic probation, right? And what was it? Any of the students who joined the university since the incident...
it's JC Jane.
Lose their financial aid.
Would that be JC Jane then, maybe?
That's what I'm thinking.
But is she even enrolled, though? Because if not her, no one notable has enrolled since
ever.
Thea Hale or Bodie Hayward. But Bodie Hayward's gone.
So he owes hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he's going to dig them out and get things back to the way they were. And then members of the student body make dumb suggestions like car washes and bake sales.
That was the thing I was forgetting.
And then some student with...
JC Jane kept raising her hand, but Andre Chase was ignoring her. And I thought he was going to come back to her at the end, but then he didn't.
And then some guy stands up and makes a suggestion, and Thea Hale is like cartoonishly in love with him immediately.
Which is weird.
I think is where they're going.
Didn't look at like anyone notable. Like at least pick someone who looks like a wrestler. So then like we know he's gonna.
Yeah.
Like he didn't look like a wrestler. He looked like an extra in a movie.
I feel like this storyline is too big a swing for this group. Like they kind of left their lane of having like quirky little fun.
Yeah, because you were liking it for a while.
I liked it a lot as mid card stuff, and now this is like they're trying to step up and do something bigger, and it's kind of doesn't make sense really.
I didn't like it.
We'll see where they go. I'm interested to see. I'm not going to give my opinion. The Lexus King little promo. I didn't even write down what he said. Do you remember him giving a little thing?
Yes, but I can't remember what exactly it was.
But what did you get? What's your impression of him? He's like
fine.
On the cusp of go away heat for me right now. Like I just don't want to see him. Whether speaking or wrestling, I find him lacking.
Most of all, I just don't like looking at him visually because like he's got like this bleach white hair, then this normal looking mustache, then this extremely fake looking trimmed beard. Like his look is
super manicured.
His head takes you for a roller coaster loop. Like it's all over the place.
So as a member of a mid card tag team in AEW, I thought he was fine.
Honestly, we never loved him, but we never hated Brian Pillman.
And as a singles guy getting focus and a chance to speak every week, he's not working for me.
No. Maybe it's just like this thing too. Maybe if he was in a different thing, he could maybe do okay.
Then we get the last chance qualifying match for Iron Survivor for the men, and that's Carmelo Hayes, Tyler Bate, Eddie Thorpe, and Joe Coffey.
One is not like the others.
Early on, remember there's that spot in the corner where we're like, what are they doing? There's a long, boring superplex tease for no real reason, and it just took too long.
Yeah,
bugged
Bate
me.
And Mello.
Coffey hit a spine buster on the steps to Thorpe at one point, and Medical have to show up after Thorpe had been like suplexing people all over the place. We get an anti-air headbutt by Coffey that you liked, followed by a couple other headbutts that looked pretty solid. And then, long story short, Tyler Driver 97 to Joe Coffey, and Tyler picks up the win. Bate gets on the mic and talks. Dijak comes out talking. He takes out Thorpe on his way to the ring. Then Braun comes out. Then Briggs come out. Then Trick, and they all talk. And then they brawl as well. So, very novel idea to have them brawl here. Who would have ever thought of that? It was
super interesting, and then
fresh.
But they wouldn't come back out, right?
No,
that's
never.
Stupid.
That's it. Two brawls is plenty.
Happen? No.
There was some good action in this right before the finish. A couple of sloppy bits early on. I thought this was probably Thorpe's best showing before he got taken out on the steps. But like the women earlier, no one got to say very much here, and everything was pretty generic, right? So it's like, you get a line, you get a line, you get a line, brawl, repeat, copy, paste, and we're out. Mello gets Ava to do something for him. We don't know what it is. Then Trick wants to know if Mello texted King to attack Trick. So there they had to make that connection for me. Like, Why are we
which
worried about Mello
isn't the
texting?
best, yeah.
Because then we...
But like you could have made that clearer earlier, so like you can at least infer.
So Mello denies that it was him, and he says that not only is he not working with Lexus King, but he will defeat Lexus King at Deadline to prove it. So hooray for that. And then Trick, this got some ooze from the crowd, right? Trick is kind of serious and gets close to Mello and says, Mello will open the show and Trick will close the show.
I thought that was kind of cool.
That was a good line. I thought so too. Dragunov and Corbin have a sit down, and I just in general, I like the contrast of like uptight, intense Dragunov and ultra laid back Corbin.
I
right?
really like Corbin. I think this is the best work he's done.
I am enjoying this as well. Even I don't know what the in-ring payoff will be because he's not the best. He's not terrible, but Dragunov could probably pull him to a really good match. Dragunov says Corbin has crossed the line talking about his son and he will pay. Corbin basically like doubles and triples down on the son thing, right? And he's
he went hard into it.
Trying to antagonize Dragunov into attacking him. Did they say like he couldn't touch him or something? I didn't pick up on that.
Well,
because why was he trying so hard not to kill him?
Because he
I think he kind of tried to explain why, but I didn't quite.
And I'm trying to remember. It was like, what? I don't know.
I think it basically comes down to, long story short, he's honorable and wants to defend it and not kill him beforehand. But so it really
but then
felt.
Why is Corbin trying to goad him?
Didn't it really feel like there was a no touch clause, and if you touch him, you lose the title, sort of thing?
I really wish there was, because AEW did that with Swerve and Hangman, and it worked perfectly. Because remember this whole debate with Nana?
Yeah.
He beat Nana. I think if that was here, if that was explicitly stated, if we had a mediator that wasn't Byron Saxton,
yes,
I think then this would have worked perfectly. Because I liked it, other than the fact that why wouldn't he just attack him? You know what I mean?
And plus,
other than that,
it makes Baron Corbin look more like a badass, because it's different if he's antagonizing a guy who can't touch him, but he just looks like a badass here because he's just stepping right to him. And I really liked it. Right?
I did like that.
Because at one point he says, like, I can walk down any street in the world and not, because he even says, like, because I'm just that bad, I can talk to you like this. I can walk down any street in the world and not look over my shoulder. I thought he sounded awesome here. But then, just to copy and paste further, all of those same men come brawling all the way down the ramps into the ring again. And then I just have people speared through a table by Braun. I don't even know who. Two of them, I think, went through.
Trick and Briggs.
Right. So Corbin's actually pretty cool here, right? But he's not winning.
Actually enjoyable. No, but he's doing some good work here.
The build to this has been good.
Him coming back here was beneficial. I think for him, probably the Cousins, maybe. Who else? Not Apollo, because he just went back. No, it wasn't
beneficial for him. Becky? No, that doesn't count. I don't know who else.
Becky would maybe count.
I think Xia Li could be helped if she came back longer.
I'm trying to think. Like there is people. Some people benefit. I'm struggling to think.
For sure, me too. But anyways, Corbin is looking cooler than usual here. Then Impact, which was again, like I have a few notes here on
Something
Impact.
Pointless.
Joint show with AAA, and this sounds mean, but I'm gonna say it. It really showed me that I'm not really missing anything by not watching AAA, which I'm sure is the exact...
We tried it once, and it's just like...
And that's the opposite of this...
random lucha stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's the opposite of the point of this. I'm sure they're like, hey, we'll show them AAA, and maybe they'll come watch us. No. I'm just like, nope, not missing anything. Because Vikingo's really cool, but I get to see him without watching AAA, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if I'd want... if I need to see him regularly, because he's a spectacle. Like, he's really cool, but... He's not much other than being cool.
And you watch some of this with me. So one of the things that super irritates me is the aggressive sponsorship placement. The mat, the Tron is constantly changing with ads, and if that's the hard camera side.
Yeah, it's constantly ads, and then it's just like it's not. I don't even know if there's any show graphics. It's just constantly that, and then it'll play the entrance videos, of course. And I also thought if Impact's trying to shed this image that they have. This is really not good because this looked really low rent. Even for a Mexico show, I thought, especially with the fans sitting on the stage, like that's an indie thing, right?
And it's like, another non-canon week, like bridging the gap to TNA showing
TNA,
up.
They better really change their image because they're like, this looks really not. Like,
and why did they?
Do they consider like number 3 in America or something like that? But like this felt like an over budget indie.
And why, like the timing? Why did they announce it so early and then do nothing? Like, I don't know. It's like they've just been like,
I
meh.
guess so then there's like an excuse for all this non-canon bull crap.
And in addition, like I was telling you, watching it, lucha style's cool when it's a part like a variety of styles or one little spot on the show, but
It's
a
kind of
show
like
mostly lucha is too much for me.
It's like you don't need the pure turning. Like it's like
Yes,
pure,
too much.
pure.
And then all of the segments on this show were just clearly filmed in the hallway, like could have been on a cell phone, to be honest, with poor audio quality. So it made the show feel even more unimportant.
That was probably the only thing that was like somewhat canonized.
And then absolutely no story to any of this, right? So
Yeah,
even
didn't that
when the
one guy
action's
talks
good,
and wrestle twice? Because I
yeah,
feel like these matches
3
were
people
just...
wrestled twice, which is lucha style. They do
Yeah,
that.
but like, I guess it to me felt like it was taped or whatever.
It felt like when we went and watched Smash versus whatever it was. Progress. It's just match, no story other than he's representing
And
his
ironically,
company.
wasn't that when we sat on the stage?
Yes, we
So
did.
it's also similar in that regard.
So really quickly, Chris Sabin
Also, when we saw Aussie Open.
we did talk to them too. Chris Sabin and Trinity in the opener.
That was weird. And also, I saw her. She won with the Bubba Bomb, and then she just rolls them.
Yes.
That's so dumb.
It was Dynamico
Again.
and Chick Tormenta.
Again, you would want to land on your ass. Like, that's comfortable.
So Tormenta hits a
Unless you're Hulk
fireman's
Hogan.
carry.
Eh?
Slam, goes for a double stomp off
Was
the
it a
top.
fireman's carry slam?
Yeah, but Trinity moves out of the way, hits a super kick and the full Nelson bomb, as you would say.
The Bubba Bomb.
Fine, I guess. You all know probably how I feel about Trinity. Not a huge fan. Dynamico seemed kind of cool. Tormenta.
I saw Impact's Instagram called them the glow guns.
Yes. Tormenta did not look good, I didn't think. There was a couple spots that were suspicious. Then we get a triple threat with Eddie Edwards, Mystizes, I think it was. It's Myztezziz, and I already forget how they pronounce it. Versus
I've seen him before.
Latigo, one of the ones that would double shift on this show. Mystizes had a really cool crucifix bomb coming off the top rope, and a power slam followed by a shooting star press as well onto Eddie Edwards to actually pick up the win. Better than the opener. This Mystizes or whatever it is looked pretty cool to me. Then we get Dragon Laredo Kid taking on Brian Myers and Black Taurus. The parts involving Taurus facing Laredo Kid were really good, but the parts with Tommy Dreamer were not, obviously, as that is the case. Laredo hits a Canadian Destroyer followed by a Sunset Bomb for the win. After the match, Dreamer puts Taurus through a table in the corner, and Jack asks why Taurus.
Yeah, why is he teaming with Myers too?
And why? Like they already give this guy nothing. Like
he just got like basically bitched in his own country. Too.
Right, exactly.
Like he can't catch a break, I guess.
So Moose and Toxin are then taking on Josh Alexander and Octagon Jr. Moose runs up to the top rope, goes for a cutter, but Octagon catches him with one. But then Moose just hits the spear to Octagon for the win. Pretty good action in this. To this point, I thought it was the best match on the show. Not that I'm really loving anything, but the crowd actually got into this because most of the show they were pretty quiet. You pointed this out. Tommy Dreamer implies basically that there's no more Impact episodes.
Yeah, he was just talking about Final Wrestling saying like last Impact show ever.
And so how long until the pay-per-view where it switches everything? When's that?
Okay, so I'll put it this way. So as of recording of this, it'll be tomorrow, but this is coming out on Saturday. Well, actually no, technically it's Saturday now. Mm-hmm. So today, December 9th is the last Impact show. There's like still a few weeks left in the year.
Yeah.
And then let's see, TNA Hard to Kill 2023 is January 13th. So it'll be like at least another month
of just filler or nothing. Like
filler or nothing. That's what's implied to me at least, because he's saying the last Impact show ever. So it kind of like, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so. And the main event was the best match on the show. Pretty fun. It was Motor City Machine Guns, El Hijo de Vikingo.
At first I thought it was Kushida, so I thought it was Time Machine.
Trey Miguel and Los Vipers, which is Latigo and Toxin. So Latigo, Toxin, and Sabin all were on this show twice.
That's right.
And they tell us that's a Lucha Libre thing. Really good action. Stacked babyface team, right? Though all three of those guys are awesome. And a pretty good heel team. Vikingo hits a Phoenix Splash from kind of the second rope outside in to Trey Miguel for the win.
Like the things Zoe Stark did, but better.
Right. A lot of talent in this match. I thought it was the best one on the show. There was some good wrestling on the show. It's just, again, nothing felt like it was really important. And even if I did find some AAA wrestlers interesting, which I did a couple, it's not like I'm going to seek them out or anything. So Impact, I don't know if what they got out of this. AAA, whatever, some exposure, I guess. But it kind of felt like another non-canon show as they're just filling time
It was a
till
weird one too.
TNA
It's
comes
just, like,
back.
It looked like low budget.
And the crowd was not very energetic. It was...
I mean, except for
I didn't
when
love it. There was a women's match, but I fell asleep not because the women weren't good. It's just like I think I fell asleep even as the intros. It was Perazo and somebody, so I missed that one.
Was there a Baby a Peach or whatever her name?
What?
Pat Pache? I don't know. She's
I
someone.
don't know who
She's the
it was.
only women's wrestler I know.
Oh yeah. We've seen her before.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was it. You said you didn't have that. Obviously, SmackDown just happened. You said there's nothing good figuring this week. So I guess that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Week coming in at 145. Nice. So that's it. 177's in the books. We'll be checking out Deadline. Probably not live, but we'll watch it. We'll probably review it quickly next week at the front of the show, and then hit all the usual stops that we do on our flagship Saturday shows. Appreciate any time you took out of your week to listen to us talk about wrestling. We'll be back here next Saturday for 178. And until then, everybody, take care.